When someone asks you how your child is doing, what's your first response? When things are rough for me, it's a list a mile long of things they are struggling with, and that's just too much.
Hi, I'm Kent, and this is Amy. Welcome to the Parenting Heroes Path. In today's video, we're going to show you how narrowing your focus down to just 2 simple daily and weekly action steps can completely break that cycle of overwhelm and bring real, steady peace back into your home.
Yeah. So I have been thinking about this story from the Old Testament, but the children of Israel, when they are wandering in the wilderness for so many years. They've been saved from Egypt, but now they're in the wilderness and there's nothing. We live in a desert. When there's nothing, there's nothing. Dry, hot, there's no water, and these Israelites are facing a future of how are we going to get food? How are we going to get water? What are we going to do now? Like, let's get back to Egypt. It was better there. And I think about this as an analogy with our children. But let's stay with the children of Israel. So they're in this wilderness, and God he answers their prayers, but he doesn't give it to them all at once. He doesn't give them the answers to all of their problems. He starts with one, with their food, and he gives them manna. And even with the manna, he doesn't say, here's the truckload of food for you for the next 40 years. He gives them one day at a time. The manna miraculously comes. The bread comes that they need, that I'm sure had all of the nutrition. I so wish we could have that. I so wish someone would show up with actual manna every day for us, so I didn't have to make dinner. But in reality, this is what God gave them, the daily food that they needed for their family.
What's so cool about that is how God met them in that desperate place.
Yeah.
And gave them exactly what they needed.
Yeah. He knows that we have all of these problems, but we can turn to him and just look at what's our next right step.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
That's the lesson for us as parents. It's exactly the same. We cannot carry the weight of the next 40 years.
Yeah.
We can't even carry the weight of the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And we don't have to fix the whole crisis by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We just need to realize that we cannot do this alone. We absolutely need God's help.
Yeah.
And when we intentionally turn to him and ask him to guide us, he will answer our prayers. He will give us the exact manna that we need for right now, today.
Yeah.
And that manna is 2 steps that you can take. When you focus on just 2 small things at a time, that impossible weight lifts and room for real heaven-led breakthroughs opens up. When your teenager or young adult is in a season of crisis, it feels like there are a million fires to put out. Maybe there are.
Maybe not a million, but maybe 10 or 50.
It probably just feels like a million.
Yeah.
And so in that place, you might think that you need a massive sweeping strategy to overhaul this big situation, this crisis, their behavior. And that would be great if a big sweeping strategy worked, but it usually doesn't. Often when our children are making poor choices, they are struggling, they feel like they're drowning, and when they're in that state, it doesn't matter how big and glorious our strategy is, they are automatically going to push away our suggestions and even our attempts at connection.
Yeah. And if we try to force them to comply or to obey or any of those things, it often brings more pushback and possibly even more rebellion.
Makes it worse.
Yeah. And the true way out of this crisis, it is a radical shift, but it's just in our influence. And we reclaim that influence not by control, not by controlling their choices, but by changing our heart and taking those small steps. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to teach you how to narrow your focus down to just 2 intentional steps, one internal and one external.
Awesome. So let's take the first one, the internal. The very first step is about you. It's entirely about you. And it's something you likely won't even tell your children that you're doing. When you take this kind of small daily action toward your own healing, you release the heavy weight of the past and process negative emotions constructively. So to understand why this works, think about the thermostat versus the thermometer. The thermometer tells us what the temperature is. And when our kids spike, we see that, we feel that. They're through the roof. And if we're a thermometer, we're just going to be measuring where they're at. They're up here, and now we're right there with them. We're
going to match that.
We've matched that energy.
Crazy frustration, anger, out of control.
And now we've spiked. Yeah. And now it's just this big turmoil and a big mess. The opposite, or the other way of looking at it, is from the perspective of being the thermostat. Mm-hmm. The thermostat sets the temperature in the room. It's not reactive. The thermostat, regardless of any sources of heat or of pressure or of turmoil, it says, I'm set at 72. And I'm going to produce 72. And that's what we can do as parents, is hold that calm, hold that peace, so that regardless of how our child is reacting, no matter how triggered they are, we're holding steady on 72.
Yeah, that's so great. And that's what these two focuses are going to do for us. So we want to give you just a couple of tips. We're going to write them as a commitment. So this first one is going to be about the internal. So here's a couple examples. I will write one entry, we call it PPJ, proof positive journal entry, for one child each day. Or I will take a solo walk or hike and talk about what is hard and how I feel about the situation or what is painful. I'm going to vent. The second part of that is that we're going to write down the why we're going to set this goal. Maybe to build our belief, maybe to remove a negativity or avoid sliding into shame spirals. When we write that reason down, we'll have more motivation to do it.
So the second step now is a direct, manageable action that you do with your child. So this is the external side. It's focusing on the relationship. Instead of reacting to their behavior like a thermometer, you're making a conscious, proactive choice to be that thermostat that we talked about.
Yeah.
And by doing so, now you are stepping into their world and you're improving that relationship with them.
Yeah.
So a couple examples here. I'll dedicate 10 minutes to just having some chill time with my child. Whatever they're into, whatever they're up to, I want to be a part of their world. I'm choosing to be in that world for 10 minutes. No agendas, no direction, just being with them, letting them lead out in that interaction. No correction, no hidden agendas. Chill, totally chill.
Yeah, or maybe I will consciously lower the pitch of my voice and slow down my words when boundaries are being pushed. And the why of that is we want to write the why because it's going to help us to be clear about why we're doing it. But it can be so that they can feel my love, so I can increase that connection. I want to lower the conflict in our home and show up with more peace so that we can all make better choices. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know the why, it's okay. Just take a guess. Imagine how it might help them or it might help your family.
Yeah. Becoming a parenting hero doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean fixing your child's crisis overnight. It means choosing to step out of the daily chaos, letting go of the need to control every outcome, and committing to these two simple focal points every single week. One internal thing to heal your own heart, and then the external to build your relationship and connection with your child. And just like the manna in the wilderness, these small steps build on each other until they become life-changing habits. When you do this quiet work to heal your own heart and become the thermostat of your home, your child will instinctively feel that lighter, steadier energy. And when you show up with intentional, proactive connection points, you build a bridge of trust that can withstand any family storm.
So we've created a guide for you to help you choose 2 steps to take. We've got some examples, and if you click the link below, download the guide, you don't have to walk this path alone. We'll see you next week.